Hey there, comic friends, I'm Travis. Time for another edition of Monster Comics Reviews. This time it is for comics for the week of August the 6th, 2014. Let's jump right into those. First up, we got Batman Eternal. This is issue number 18. Crazy how fast the numbers build up when you're doing a weekly book. I'm still really enjoying it. You get Killer Croc in it, which is awesome. I love Killer Croc as a character. I like how they're treating him in the New 52. You know, he definitely is coming across as kind of a savior to some degree of some of the street people. So I really dig that. That was lots of fun that's in here. Another interesting part is, of course, we have Red Hood, Batgirl, and Batwoman that are kind of teamed up in South America, dealing with some stuff there. So it's kind of interesting to get the dynamics with that part of it. We get an interesting addition of a new character at the end of this that I'm not 100% sure who this is that's at the end of this. I don't really necessarily want to spoil it for people who haven't read it yet, but if you know who the dude is at the very end of this in the Hawaiian shirt, tell me who you think it is. Because I think I know who it is, but I'm not 100% sure if it's a new character or if it's the reusing of a character. So yeah, so that'll be interesting. Really digging it. Still just think it's a fun book. I'll continue to pick it up. Happy that they've gotten Clark doing a few of these issues. I really like his artwork. I think it's colored by somebody different, so his inking looks a little different because I think his inking gets covered up more by the colors in this. But still, I think really solid work. Fun story. Yeah, just an enjoyable read. Let's see. Next up, Detective Comics. This is issue 34. This is the final of the Icarus storyline. Had a reasonably decent ending to it. Of course, the art is pretty great in a lot of cases in this. I'm still tired of seeing Batman dressed up in armored bat suits. To me, maybe that's a little more realistic of a way of Batman surviving a lot of stuff that he ends up dealing with, but at the same time, it feels like a cop-out to me. It is Batman, not Iron Man, so let's keep him as Batman. And, you know, one of the charms of Batman is him being able to deal with stuff being just a man. So I kind of hate when they flirt with that stuff. Reasonably decent storytelling. This was an okay story. It was fairly marginal, the whole arc, really. We're going to have a break, obviously, because of all these DC books, because they're all going to the next issue is all going to be the 5 years in the future. I'm not really planning on getting any of those books. So yeah, there's going to be a break in the storyline. New stories coming after this. I'm going to see what the next arc is like with this team, and I may be dropping Detective Comics. Not that it's horrible, but just that it's not really doing anything either. And hasn't been, quite frankly, for most of the New 52. And I'm reaching a point where there's enough other stuff coming out that I need to start making some decisions as to what I'm getting and not getting, and justify really why am I getting this. Am I just getting it because I've always gotten Detective Comics? Is that still okay as a collector? And I'm starting to think now that maybe that's not the case. So this may end up on a chopping block. Earth 2 issue number 26. Awesome story in here. You know, we get full on the new Superman of this Earth. Very much enjoyed that. Very much enjoyed the stories that are here, and how this kind of gets tied up and whatnot. Just really getting a kick out of Earth 2. Earth 2 is just a lot of fun. I think this is Nicola Scott's last issue where she's on art. So we'll see what the art's like going forward. Of course, we also have coming up here pretty soon, we're going to get the Earth 2, its weekly book. And it seems to me like that the real energy is going into the weekly book and not into this. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen with that. I really don't plan on getting the weekly book. I plan on sticking with this. We'll see what it looks like going forward and see whether that's going to be. But I am nervous. I'm nervous for what it has going for it. How long will it last? with this other book kind of, I don't know, feels like it's going to steal its limelight, steal its thunder. But anyway, in this issue, the evil Superman gets dealt with. We kind of get a resolution to that and some other things. But really, really enjoyable. Grayson issue number 2. I'm still really enjoying this book as a whole, largely for the art, with Janin on art, and largely for the Huntress character. Dick Grayson is fine. The people he's working for are somewhat interesting. They use some other characters like the Hood, which I'm really enjoying seeing a lot of these kind of Grant Morrison characters. Last time I saw them, they were written by Grant Morrison before the New 52, being recycled in some of these stories and stuff to get these characters back out there for use. I do like that. And the story is somewhat interesting. I mean, not somewhat interesting. It's interesting. I like the spies that they're working for. I'm not sure that I like the head spy. But yeah, cannibals in this. How can you go wrong, right? It's got cannibals in it. It's got to be cool. Green Arrow issue number 34. This is basically the finale of Jeff Lemire and Sorrentino's run on this book. I know there's one more issue, but it's that set in the future issue, which I don't plan on getting. Sorrentino's kind of implied that that's their final issue, which it is. But this is the one that finally finishes up the stories that are being told here. I will not be getting Green Arrow going into the future. I don't like the idea of them moving it closer to the TV show and using the stuff that worked in the TV show. I think that's unfortunate. Even more unfortunate, I believe, is that Sorrentino is moving from DC to Marvel. Not that I hate Marvel or anything, but I don't collect as many Marvel books, and I'm afraid they're going to put him on some of those Marvel books that I'm not interested in. You know, if he's not on one of the fringe books, probably not going to pick it up, even with him being the art, even though I'll love it, just because I don't like trying to keep track of the Marvel Universe, the greater Marvel Universe. So I want to read the books that don't have to worry about all that minutia and stuff. But this kind of ties things off. They finish up some of the battles. Some of the bad guys get away for them to show up later on, of course. Sets up some decent stuff, and finishes reestablishing Diggle and Ollie as being friends in this. Take that for what it's worth. That's a TV show thing for me. I didn't think it was necessary. I still don't think it's necessary, but beautiful art through it. Has been a decent story. It's been a great run with these guys on it. I'm glad that on like issue 18 I jumped on for that. Excuse me, how rude. I probably will not edit that out. But it has been enjoyable. Of course, if I hear some of you guys talking about how great the book is, maybe I'll get back on it. I used to really love Ollie back in the day. My fandom of Green Arrow has waned with the New 52. They kind of crushed the character enough that I don't know that he's ever going to be the Green Arrow that I used to read. And so, don't know that I'll ever be that excited about picking it up. Justice League 3000, issue number 9. Still really loving this book. I love the art. Kind of interesting, there's a split in art duties here. That half the book is the main story, and then the second half of the book, which doesn't have the main artist on it, is done by a different artist and tells another chunk of the story. I wonder if they did they do that because that's how they wanted to tell a story, or they do that because the artist was getting behind, and this is a way to have two artists work on the book without it feeling jarring. Not sure. It worked. It was entertaining. Our main storyline continues on with the Five and dealing with them and all really cool and really interesting stuff. I love the dynamics of these characters. Them figuring out what they are, who they are, and how it works. Still just been really great through this, I think. Oh, we get a twist with Flash gets reincarnated for a third time in this book now, 9 issues in, and this is the third time. This time it's a girl, which is pretty cool, and the rationale for using that I think is really interesting and cool. It's just been a solid, great book. Oh, another book that is so awesome. Moon Knight. This is issue number 6. This is the final issue of our team of Ellis, Shalvey, and Jody Bellari on the book. Jody's going to continue to do colors. The other two are off to do other projects and whatnot. This 6th run of this book has just been fabulous. This issue is no exception. These are kind of one-shot stories that give you a glimpse as to what Moon Knight is about, who he is, but still just tells us a solid story of some complex piece of his existence. In this one, it's a great story about a guy who kind of is insulted that Moon Knight gets the respects that he does, so he starts working out and gathering information. He's going to replace Moon Knight. He's going to wipe Moon Knight out, kill Moon Knight off, and replace him and be Moon Knight. And it doesn't really work out that way. And as this guy was doing some investigating, you kind of find out what Moon Knight's about and people's opinion of Moon Knight. Maybe that's not the best thing to do. And then in this issue, Moon Knight really lays down the heat as to why this would be a dumb decision to try and replace him, to try and be Moon Knight. It would be very, very unwise. And we even get a glimpse of the new team on Moon Knight here. Looks okay, but not nearly as impressive. I probably won't be getting the book going forward after that. As much as I do like Moon Knight, I haven't really enjoyed any superhero work that Brian Wood has done, and he's the one that's taking over. I don't know if this character is unique enough and non-superhero enough for Brian to have a voice to tell a story with that. Or if it's just part of the steady paycheck of things that he's doing right now, because, you got families and stuff to take care of while he does his independent stuff too. I don't know. But haven't been excited by that stuff, so I'm not getting this unless I hear lots of people talk about how great it is. Then I'll go run and hunt down those back issues to get caught up if I hear that his run is as good as what Ellis's has been on it. She-Hulk. Issue number 7. We get our regular artist back on the book. We get this fun story of a person with a shrink-o ray, and they're going to sell it, and they got a partner that doesn't want to sell it, and he shrinks himself, it disappears, and you got the hilarity of them shrinking themselves down along with Ant-Man, our main characters with Ant-Man, and they kind of wander around trying to find this guy, and some more great relationship conversation between She-Hulk and Hellcat in here, who's reliable, who's not, who do we trust, who don't we trust, kind of a thing. That was all really interesting and whatnot, and fun. And I love the ending of this, because in the ending of this, it looks like Steve Rogers has showed up to maybe seek counsel from She-Hulk. Of course, that's Captain America, but this is the old guy now that's Captain America. And I just love how they kind of introduce him, because the people in the office where he's at, they're all kind of smitten. It's Captain America, and they're all kind of entranced by him. And I kind of liked that, the way that is and whatnot. But this is a really fun story. I'm glad to have the artist back that we have after the interesting time we had the last 2 issues with the crazy artist that was there. But there's just lots of fun stuff in this. Hellcat at one point tries using Ant-Man's helmet, and there's some hilarious lines in there about how trying to control these ants is like trying to control a bunch of toddlers that are totally high on sugar and stuff. So just lots of fun. So Superior Foes of Spider-Man issue 14. Stuff is starting to come to a header. They've executed their plans. We get to find out the hilarious story behind our Overdrive and how in the world he gets hooked up with the Beetle briefly. Some funny story there. This is just a great, hilarious book. It's just funny. These guys are such losers, and it's amusing watching them be losers. I won't say much more about it, but it's just been fun. It's just been great, and the way this ends is going to be exciting. They pushed the Shocker to his limits to see what happens there. All great, fun stuff. And finally, Swamp Thing issue 34. This ends this arc, I believe, with the Wolf and the Thorn. And I like it. It's good. This is great stuff. The art is beautiful in it. I have to agree with some other people who are saying that we need to kind of find a different storyline because the storylines are starting to feel somewhat the same. In the fact that Swamp Thing gets duped into something, and then he kind of, the way he takes care of it, seemingly being the same a lot. But still, very much enjoyable. Still really enjoy Swamp Thing. I still think it's one of the better DC books that are out there. Unfortunately, it continues to not sell really great. Hopefully, that doesn't hinder it too much. I keep getting told it's a legacy book, and DC's not worried so much about it. But you never know. But still, really enjoying it. Anyway, that's the books. When I started talking, I thought I had more to say about the books than I do, but obviously I don't. And at any rate, so I will see you next week. We'll talk some more comics. Bye.